Hello students, once again welcome back to English Literature Classroom. Today I am going to teach a chapter of accidents part 2 from the book New Radiant Readers class 8. Okay, now this chapter is chapter 10. Okay, in chapter 9, a chapter of accidents part 1, you all have read that Jack Easy was taught by his father that the world and its goods are the common property of all men. Therefore, as he found an apple tree bearing tempting fruits, he immediately climbed it and started eating apples. Even when the apple tree owner came, he refused to come down because he believed that those apples were common property of everyone. Next, the owner of the apple tree sent a dog to keep an eye on Jack. Then a bull came over there. Next, warfare continued between the bull and the dog. Okay, now let's start a chapter of accidents part 2. Clear? Jack prepared for immediate flight, but unfortunately the combat was carried on by the side of the hedge. Okay, Jack decided to flee. Okay, but the combat was carried on by the side of the hedge. Okay, at which Jack had gained admission. Never mind, thought Jack. There are two sides to every field. Now Jack thought that there are two sides to every field, and although the other hedge joined onto the garden near the farmhouse, there was an option. Okay, there was an option at all events, said Jack. Clear? Now let's see the question. Where was the combat carried on? Answer, the combat was carried on by the side of the hedge at which Jack had gained admission. Clear? Let's continue. Jack was sleeping down the trunk. Okay, what was Jack doing? Sleeping down the trunk. Okay, when he heard a tremendous roar. At that time, he heard a tremendous roar. The bulldog had been tossed by the bull. Okay, what had happened? The bulldog had been tossed by the bull. He was then high in the air. Okay, the bulldog was high in the air, and Jack saw him fall on the other side of the hedge. And what did Jack see? That the bulldog fall on the other side of the hedge. And the bull was thus celebrating his victory with a flourish of trumpet. Now, Bull thought that Bull has won. Okay, therefore it was celebrating his victory with the flourish of trumpets. Upon which Jack, perceiving that he was relieved, Jack thought that he was relieved. Okay, from his sentry, slipped down the rest of the tree and took to his heels. Took to his heels means he started running. Jack started running. Jack thought that everything had ended. Unfortunately for Jack, the bull saw him. Okay, it was bad luck for Jack. Okay, the bull saw him and flushed with victory, he immediately set up another roar and bounded after the lad. Okay, now the bull gave one roar and started following Jack. Okay, running after Jack. Jack perceived his danger. Jack understood that danger is there and fear gave him wings. Okay, he was very afraid. Okay, he started running very fast. He not only flew over the orchard. Okay, he started running so far that he did not only fly over the orchard, but also fly over the hedge. Okay, and the hedge was almost about 5 feet high. Just as the bull drove his head into it. Look before you leap is an old proverb. Look before you leap means before thinking anything before doing anything you should think over it. Okay. Now this is an old proverb. Had Jack done so, he would have done better. But Jack had not done it. Okay. When he got to the other side of the hedge, okay, when Jack went to the other side of the hedge, he found that he had pitched into a small apiary. Apiary means bee nest, okay, nest of bees. Clear? Let's see the question. When did Jack hear a tremendous roar? Answer, when Jack was sleeping around a trunk, he heard a tremendous roar. Clear? Let's continue. Okay, now Jack had pitched into a small apiary. I told you, okay, I have already told you that the meaning of apiary is bee nest, okay, and had upset two hives of bees, okay, and what had Jack did, okay, what had Jack done? He had upset two hives of bees, who resented the intrusion, and Jack hardly any time to get upon his legs before he found them very busy stinging him in all quarters. Okay, now Jack found that all the bees were stinging him. All that Jack could do was to run. Jack had no other option, only to run. Okay, but the bees flew faster than he could run. Okay, bees flew faster and Jack was mad with pain. Okay, clear? Jack was mad with pain when he stumbled half-blinded over the brickwork of a well. Now what did he do? He stumbled over the brickwork of a well. Jack could not prevent him falling into the well. Okay, Jack could not prevent, okay, and he fall into the well. But he seized the iron chain. What did he do? He seized the iron chain as it struck him across the face. Okay. Now let's see the question. How was the bull celebrating his victory? Answer. The bull was celebrating his victory with flourish of trumpets. Okay, let's continue. Down went Jack and round went the down went Jack and round went the windlass, and after a rapid descent of 40 feet, our hero found himself underwater. Okay, now after 40 feet, descending after 40 feet, where did Jack find himself? Underwater. Okay, Jack was now into the well. Okay, and no longer troubled by the bees. Now inside the well, Jack was no longer troubled by the bees, whether they had lost scent of the prey from the rapid descent or being notoriously clever insects. Okay, the bees were very clever insects. Okay, acknowledge the truth of the age. Leave well alone had certainly left Jack with no other companion than truth. Now over there inside the well, there was no companion apart from truth. Okay, Jack rose from the intrusion and seized the rope. What did Jack do? Caught the rope, to which the chain of the bucket was made fast, and with the rope, the chain of the bucket was made fast. It had all of its bees unwound from the windlass, and therefore it enabled Jack to keep his head above water. Okay, now Jack kept his head above water. Okay, after a few seconds, Jack felt something against his leg. Now, after a few seconds, what happened? Jack felt something against his leg. It was the bucket. What was it? It was the bucket. About 2 feet under the water. Okay, the bucket was 2 feet under the water. Clear? Jack put his feet into it and found himself pretty comfortable. Now, Jack put his feet into the bucket. Okay, and he found himself pretty comfortable. For the water, after the sting of the bees and the heat he had been put into by the race with the bull, was quite cool and refreshing. The water was very cool and refreshing, and Jack found himself very much comfortable over there. Clear? Now let's see the question. What was the height of the hedge? Okay, the hedge was of almost about 5 feet high. Clear? Let's continue. As all events, thought Jack, if it had not been for the bull, I should have been watched by the dog. If there was no bull, then what would have happened? Jack would have been watched by the dog and then thrashed by the farmer. But then again, if it had not been for the bull, I should not have tumbled among the bees. Okay, if there was no bull, again Jack would not have tumbled among the bees. And if it had not been the bees, and if it had not been for the bees, I should not have tumbled into the well. Again, if there were no bees, Jack would not have been tumbled into the well. And if it had not been for the chain, I should have been drowned. If there was no chain, Jack would have been drowned. Okay, and this was the chain of the event. Okay, and because all this thing happened, why? Because Jack wanted to eat an apple. Clear? Now, however, I have got rid of the farmer. Now, Jack is thinking that, however, he had got rid of the farmer, the dog, and the bull, and the bees. All's well that ends well. Okay, it's a proverb. All's well that ends well. But how am I to get out of the well? Now, Jack is thinking that how he would get out of the well. As my father said, okay, Jack's father had said, what? It's an iron age. Okay, what age it is? It's an iron age. And here I am swinging to an iron chain. And what was Jack doing? Swinging to an iron chain. Let's see the question. How many hives of bee Jack had upset? Answer. Jack had upset 2 hives of bees. Let's continue. We have given Jack's thought. Okay, we have given Jack's thought as they prove that he is no fool, although too fond of argument, and a man who could reason so well upon cause. Okay, a man who could reason so well upon cause and effect at the bottom of a well up to his neck in water showed a great deal of presence of mind. Okay, in the end, it shows that Jack had shown a great deal of presence of mind. Okay, adapted from Captain Marrier's Mr. Midshipman's Easy. Clear? Let's see the question. When did Jack got relief from the stinging of the bees? Okay, answer is when Jack found himself under water, he got relief from the stinging of the bees. Clear? With this, I am concluding this video. In my next video, I am going to bring something new. Until then, goodbye.